Hello guys, welcome back to a new video. As you might know, we have already been to the Lego store. This is just an empty bag just for this video. Because if you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome to this channel. I usually do Star Wars content, so that is probably why you maybe haven't seen my stuff, because you're looking more for castle related stuff. Well, this is your lucky day, because I'm going to be building a castle mock, although I just don't know how big it would be. But just for reference and just for your idea, I have this two table setup over here. This is a 180 by 180 centimeter desk build setup here. The square foot and stuff, like the American sizes, are on screen for you guys. But what my original plan was to use this whole 180 by 180 setup over here. Well, kind of 180 by 180, because one desk is an L shape and one is a straight one, so it doesn't really work out. But what I wanted to do is actually put one big Coruscant mock on this table, on these two tables. I thought it was really cool, but currently I do have a big issue and it just doesn't work out. As you can see over here, it's quite cluttered, and we do have on this left side right here, we do have one base plate right there, and we have a tiny build next to this piñata where, well, my friend Sis commented that he should be the mascot. He was actually marked for disassembling. Should I keep this as a mascot or no? Let me know in the comments. But besides everything here, this is literally all I have from Coruscant. I had to disassemble a little bit actually to get my stuff from Castle. So there's some broken stuff here. I thought, let's actually maybe do a bit of Castle. I could actually move Coruscant to one table, which was going to be that one. And then Castle we could maybe do on this table. And well, I think that would be really cool. Like this one will be rotated 90 degrees and then going on this one next to the Atlantis case and then all the way to here. And this one is going to be rotated 180 degrees, and then hopefully it could fit over the radiator, and then we have it on this side over here. As you might have seen before, I've uploaded a YouTube short regarding Castle. I've also put a community post on my YouTube channel regarding if I actually should do some Lego Castle stuff. And I got a lot of comments actually. I had 4 likes, I had a few on Instagram, I had a few on the post itself. All of them saying that I should do more Lego Castle related stuff. So as you've probably seen, maybe, hopefully this short, if not there's also a short version of this one. I'm going to be building the 2007 Lego Castle. And the whole reason why I want to build this Lego Castle is because of this gift for purchase over here. This is the Sea Serpent gift for purchase. You actually could obtain this during a gift for purchase weekend or an insider's weekend. You had to spend 180 euro or dollar. I actually got this one during the time I got some Lego pieces. If you're curious about that video, check on top right here, currently on screen, about the insane pieces we got. This is of course not the pieces, but we got some really cool stuff going on. Over here I have a big pile, and these should be all the parts from the 2007 Lego Castle, plus a few that I got from Bricklink. So a quick shout out to the people where I bought this from. This is the Smith Bricks. They're all Dutch retailers, but this one actually very cool something. Just a thank you for this order. I checked all the pieces and they're all just 2 cents each, because one person in the Netherlands has like 60,000 of each, which is insane. But a little thank you gift, very nice. Maybe there are some cool printed pieces that I could use for my Lego Coruscant mock, or maybe for the Lego Castle mock. Maybe that could be an idea. So that could be very cool. So thank you for giving me free Lego pieces. That's very useful. Thank you. I also made another order from the Bricks for You. This was recommended again by the part out, instant part out. I always come to this store. This is like the 3rd or 4th order I've done via Bricks for You. All the time they've been really good service. Got all my pieces. I even got some other pieces again for the Coruscant mock, so hopefully we can continue soon. But this should also have some pieces for Castle in here, so I cannot just throw it to the side and just leave it as is, because it might be actually for this. So this is also here. I've already collected a few minifigures that were from this set. I believe this black skeleton was from this set as well. I'm not sure, but I do have the other minifigures over here. I have the King, I have some of the Knights in here, and this one that was on top of the dragon. I have the dragon completed, besides one red teeth, and I couldn't find this red piece. After sorting through my bin, I found it, but I already made the order, so now I have an extra one, just a spare one. All the parts are good, it is complete, the wings are not folded nor anything, there's nothing that cracked. There was only one thing missing, and that was this guy. He lost an arm. So I had to order just one specific arm for this guy to make him complete again, but the rest is all in pretty good condition. Like even the horse, like these clips, I heard the clips are breaking very quickly. These ones seem to be perfect, so I think I'm lucky here with my 2007 collection. Like literally I had this set since 2007. It is crazy, and well, now we can add the Sea Serpent gift of purchase with it as well. I've also found this troll over here. This one was of course in my minifigure bin. I added all the white teeth on here, so it all is good. And then behind over here, I did actually some sorting work. And this sorting work is actually containing all of my kingdom stuff. And as you can see, it is not a lot of stuff, but it is at least something. So let me quickly have a look. We got some skeletons, we got some minifigures over here, we have some, well, parts. We have some spears and some other stuff, swords in this one. Oh, I see actually a gem that should be in here. Crossbows and stuff. Why are all these gems everywhere? Crossbows and like bows and swords. And then here we have some of these shields going on. So yeah, it is not a lot. As I mentioned, I used to collect this in 2007. Then I actually had, I think, 2 sets from Kingdoms. I have some orcs, because there was one orc set from Castle. But I mostly have Kingdoms. No, I have nothing actually. Back to the castle, because that is of course why you clicked on this video. Let's speed build this. So here we are building, and hopefully I can show you everything from the start to the end. I had to record everything twice because there was something wrong in my hardware settings or something, so my screen started flickering, and therefore I do not know what the result is. I record this audio before I've even watched the footage. I know I've recorded 2 things, lots of footage going on, so I definitely have enough to share with you guys. So going through the build, it was quite intense, as you can see on screen. Sometimes here and there I just stop and you don't see anything, or I just like move my hands a little bit because I'm just trying to look for the pieces. I cannot find it in such a big pile. Usually I like it this way because then I have a bit more time to go through everything and enjoy my build even more as what I usually can with a build. Because for example, I do not have experience with any new kingdom kind of sets, so I just have to use Star Wars here for an example. But the 2025, I think, yeah, the 2025 Star Destroyer, the Playscale one that came with the Calcastus minifigure, I finished that in a day, and it was literally 100+ euros. So next time maybe I just should open the bags, put it all in one pile and just go that way. But it also was kind of frustrating to me because I knew I recorded and I wanted to showcase you the kind of good speed build that I can do. But hopefully it's all okay. Going to the build itself, you start off with building the gate that is going to be back 1. The gate is actually very simple, a simple build, but you use a lot of parts the same times over and over again. On the left side you have to build a pin, or it's not really a flag, and it is stuck with a hinge. I still don't know, even like I have the finished product already in front of me during this recording. I still do not know what it does, and I will showcase you later what I mean, so you have a more clear view of what I've been talking about. But I think it is really fun that you actually build these sections one by one, and I think starting off with the gate, the main thing, I think is really cool. The bridge was the hardest to build because you have the colors brown and black, and the old instruction manuals from the I use the digital formats, right? So the ones from lego.com themselves, I have the original instruction manuals as well, but I don't want to break them because they're so old. But to see the difference between brown and black is really hard. Like, I know there is no dark brown in this set, and it still looked like dark brown or reddish brown, and I just had to guess which one it was. And sometimes even during my build I thought I had all the pieces, and I still had to go back to my bin, and get the pieces that I missed. So hopefully it won't be as disturbing. But yeah, I think the bridge was the most fun to build. It also has really fun features with the gate and the bridge just being able to open and close. Although I must say, again, I haven't built the other castles, but I think this is a bit of an outdated kind of style of how you can open and close a bridge. But it is really cool. After that, you're starting building the towers. And if I knew at the start that you pretty much built the same tower design twice until the last step or the second last step, then I would have built them all just in one go. What you do is you just build out these big towers with these big cheat bricks, as I call them, these big mountain bricks. And then you just build a simple tower. Then you add the details like the flag, you add the flames with the cone, you add the, oh, I see, I miss a piece even. Oh, I have to fix that. But you add the catapult, you add the shield in front of it. That's all the same. And then the later step, well, the flames are mirrored, so that's kind of different. The flags are the same. The leaves on the front are not the same. And I think besides like the flames and the leaves, they're just exactly identical to each other. So if I only knew that I had to build this twice, I would have done like 2 in a row. But it is what it is. Eventually you just build all these sections and you connect them with pins to each other. Really fun, but I want to show you later what kind of issue this set has when picking it up because of these pins. Then you start with building the left side of the wall. The left side of the wall also has a bunch of cheat bricks going in. With the cheat bricks in this case, I mean not only the rock build, the rock piece, but also the walls with the arch in it. It is a very fun, nice piece, but especially nowadays in 2026 and forwards, pretty sure we just get this one in a brick build kind of snot technique. There's almost not any snot like going on in this 2007 build, because back in the day you didn't really do that. You just stacked it just the ordinary traditional Lego way, which is also fun, but also kind of sad that it is that way, but it is fine. On top of the wall you're gonna build a big catapult, and below that you're gonna build a weapons rack. And this weapon rack, in my opinion, is the least satisfying, because the weapons rack is literally just 3 clips. You attach 2 swords and 1 spear to the whole weapons rack, and that is your weapons rack. It is simple, it is just a weapons rack. I mean, I cannot say much about that. But you connect it to the left side of the castle, and then on the right side you start building another wall. And that wall is actually the last one, I think. I think you start with the back after that wall, so you kind of go like counterclockwise as of building wise. So the back wall, you start just with the bottom part. It includes a black gate, which is the gate at the back. You can use it for either an escape if your castle will be starting to, like, you know, when you have to flee, when you have to retreat. I used to use this gate as like the gate for my horse back in the day, so it was like a kind of a horse gate, and it was kind of a, you know, like if you had to escape, kind of an escape kind of gate. The top part with the king on top, you build that as the last part. So going over to the other wall, you build just a simple wall. It only has 1 feature besides, again, all these cheat bricks going on. The wall is actually destructible on one side. I will again showcase you that in a later stage during this video. But that is pretty much everything you're doing for that wall. There is a staircase going up to the tower that you're building on top. So you can actually access the top side, but funny enough, you can technically only access that side of the build. If you looking at it like from a minifigure perspective, you cannot access the other side with a catapult. Neither can you access the towers at the front technically. So it's kind of weird. Welcome to 2007 where nothing is logical. On top of that tower that you're building from the wall, there is a jail, and the jail you can literally just add 1 minifigure. In the jail there is 1 piece of glass in there, which is also funny. It's like the people that were in there drank wine, which is strange because people in jail shouldn't drink anything related to like wine and stuff. either way, it is there. It is a jail. You can access the jail from the back to put a minifigure in or out. Again, from a minifigure's perspective, the jail is not accessible, which is, again, kind of strange, but it is what it is. Then you start with the last tower part, and the tower is where the king is sitting on. Below that, below the king, is the treasure room, which is just a tiny build with a treasure chest. It has some gems in it and the chrome gold sword from the king himself. And then on top you have another floor with the king sitting there on his too big throne, which is really funny to see. You have a kind of tower on the left of the build, which I always assumed as a kid that was like the princess tower or the witch tower. But yeah, again, I will showcase you in the later review what I find of that part. And then you have a bridge which is stuck with just one pin on both sides, so it is kind of playful in a way. It doesn't really look good in my opinion, but it is there to access the top of the tower where the jail is from. So that is kind of how like everything is connecting in that way, and that bridge is the bridge is also the last part that you are building. On top of the king, you also have another watchtower. In total, you have 4 watchtowers. And yeah, I think it is a pretty big build. It's a really cool build. So yeah, I think that is kind of it when it comes to what goes on with this. I just had a bunch of trouble getting all these pieces, especially at the first start of building. But once I built the 2 towers and the front gate, then it actually was easier, because the front gate and the 2 towers at the front used the most pieces, and the rest of the pieces were kind of the same kind of deal. Overall, I think it is a really cool build, so let's head into the review. And here you have the 2007 King's Castle Siege set, fully built. Just wow, like going back into my youth straight away building this set. Again, as I mentioned before, I had this set from 2007, and now I finally rebuild it again. I thought it was an easy way to collect all the pieces, but yeah, I had some issues. I had to do, as you have seen, an extra order, 2 extra orders actually, to finish this build back into what it is. Plus, it also costed me a lot of these 1x2 bricks. I thought I had a bunch of these light bluish gray 1x2 bricks. This set requires a total of 125 of these 1x2 light bluish gray bricks. I don't even know where you would leave all of these pieces. It is insane. Of course, on the sides, like this one, this is just one big piece, like on the side of the tower. So where would you leave all of these parts? It's crazy how many parts this takes, and especially when the inside is just hollow. Like there's not even a plate underneath where you can put your minifigures on. It is just straight, you can just straightly see the table, which is crazy. It really is crazy. You can see a bit of grass going on the outside of the build that I'll showcase you a bit later, of course, but for the rest it has nothing going inwards. So that is all up for your imagination and your creativity. At least that's how I see it. And here you have the front gate, which is really fun and really cool to see. Let me actually show you how you can put this bridge up, which is kind of insane, kind of crazy. You have this big piece on the top right here, this Technic beam, and you actually just lift it down and then the bridge goes up. That is literally how it works. It even broke on here. Let me press it down again so it's stuck. So this is kind of how this mechanism works. It's very simple. It's just because of the gravity and because of the chain pieces that it will be able to go up or down. Then we have the gate right here, and this gate is actually being held by this shield over here that is on the back, has these 2 pins. A very simple connection, as you can see. It just is the axle with the studs on the top, and it is being connected by a 1x2 snot plate, or a plate with a stud in the center. Then you have this bracket going on, and then you have this shield. So it's kind of a lot of pieces for something to hold up, and you just lift this up and I cannot do it with one hand, so I'll just tell you this way. But you have this bracket over here, and the axles will fit underneath the railing going underneath here, so it actually is being held by the pieces, and when you pull it out, the gate will actually just drop like so. And that is kind of how the play feature works. It's kind of simple yet effective, especially for 2007. Works like a charm. The cone that I was talking about in the speed build is actually this one over here. This one is connected by a hinge, and as you can see, you can just easily break the cone. If you don't break this, you can actually just move this one like this, maybe. Like it technically already holds itself up like this, but maybe this cone is just to pull it like fully down if it doesn't break. Like just to, maybe it would work. So this cone is kind of holding the Technic pin in place so it stays up. But if you press it down fully enough, it already stays up. So if you know what this piece does, let me know in the comments down below. It is very hard to do this, of course, with one hand, but maybe this is the way how it should have been. I don't know. I've never worked that out since 2007 till now. I just added this piece back and was like, well, they could have easily just skipped this piece because it's not really useful, but maybe it's just to hold up the bridge. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you know what it does. Going on to the towers, you can see they are actually very simple build. Let me rotate this build a bit. As you can see, it is just hollow inside there, and there's nothing going on. No stickers, no table, no interesting part, no nothing. And the funniest part is, as you can see right here, there is literally no entrance even to get a minifigure in here. Same counts for the top. There is no way of accessing these tops. No ladder is included, no nothing. That would have been a really nice feature, just to have a ladder to put these minifigures up or down. And of course the other tower is exactly the same. There is nothing going on in here. There is nothing below on the bottom. I just used to put my minifigures on the bottom to hide the minifigures when they were attacking, but there is nothing going on, and neither is anything going on in the interior, as you can see over here. This is just my table, and these are the plates that are included, and that is kind of it. And over here you have the weapons rack underneath the big catapult over here. And as you can see, the weapons rack is really lacking. There's just 2 swords and 1 spear on there, and it is being held by just simple clips. Oh, I see, even I miss a sword. The sword, the other one is on the left, but I put it in my minifigure with the horse, so there's your 3rd sword. But yeah, that is literally what is included. So yeah, I mean, it works for what it does in 2007, but it does not work in 2026. Going over to the top part of the tower over here, we have the king sitting here in his oversized chair, and it really looks, let me put, okay, just fall out. And this chair over here is kind of it is kind of reminding me of Palpatine's throne room from that we get now in the diorama build and in the UCS Death Star, for example. But back in the day, in 2007, you didn't have really like these snob pieces that we have nowadays, or these kind of slopes going on. So it literally is just a big plate on the bottom and makes the chair look really fat. There is nothing else going on than just the king watching outside, kind of on the castle, and that is kind of what it is. As you can see, there's no way of accessing this chair or this throne room somewhere. You cannot go somewhere. It is just a build like this. And then below that we have the treasure room, and the treasure room is just this chest. It has the chrome gold sword on the front, and if you open the chest right here, you have these nice gems going on. You get a blue, a red, a green, and a yellow gem. But again, besides that, in this treasure room there's nothing else. Of course, again, there's nothing, or there is no way to access this area unless you have something like ninjas from Ninjago. They could technically jump up here. I think you have these brackets over here, so technically you could let someone just jump up in a way. You have these clip brackets over here. There's nothing attached to these clip brackets, or I must have missed a step and there should have been some flames like we have on the catapult right there. Maybe that is something that I've missed. But you have these clips, and then on top here you also have these kind of headlight bricks with the snub pieces on the sides. Nothing is being attached on there, so there is some detail going on, but nothing really crazy. And then on the right side we have this tower, and this is the tower what I've been speaking of when it comes to the jail. So if you rotate the build And looking at the back, this is the only way to access the jail. So you can put this, you can pull this piece out, these two pieces, these jail pieces, and then you have the cup over here. And again, there is nothing else inside. No stickers, no details, no nothing, just a cup. No minifigure that you could put in. Maybe because the set came with 3 skeletons, but there's nothing really going on that tells you any instructions to put in. Then going on to the main play features, besides all these little tiny builds, you have the tower guy right here with his crossbow. His crossbow is mounted to the top of the tower. I just put him in there, so he kind of spawned in there. There's no way to get access to that place either. You have this guy with this crate. I put the crate up here myself because there was no instruction to put the crate here. It didn't say anything about where you should put the crate. This was literally step 1 in the minifigure section of building the minifigures. You have to build a crate, and it just doesn't show you any further where you should put the crate or what you can do with it. So it can either be just on the table or it can be just wherever you are. In the crate though, there is another blue gem. So you get an extra blue gem. It's kind of hard to see the blue gem in here, but there is another gem element in there, and that is pretty much everything. You could act like it is water or you can act like it is a secret valuable thing going on. Going on the front towers, what you have here is these tiny catapults, and these are actually, in my opinion, the most funny because you have these 1 by 1 just simple brown cylinder pieces, and you just put them in here. These catapults are actually built with a big pan piece over here, just a pan that is in here, and then it is a simple Technic build on a 2 by 2 plate with a Technic pin connection on the front, and then you just simply launch it like this, and that is the way how you can just launch these 1 by 1 cylinders. So I think that is pretty fun. You should get 3 of these cylinders. They are stacked over here on the side. That's what the instructions also tells you to put them. And then you have 3 for one tower and then 3 for the other tower. I used one in my shorts and apparently I haven't found it yet. Plus I told you that I was missing a piece. If you spot it right now, tell me in the comments down below. You should be able to see it now. The next main feature, as you can see, is the wall over here. I didn't put it back correctly. It should be actually kind of more flush with the wall. This really reminds me of the Lord of the Rings scene going on over here, where just a random orc just goes suicidal mode full into the wall and breaks it open. You can literally do the same, but just with your finger, and you won't lose your finger. So you just press and it just slides out, and there you go. You have a entrance through the wall, and that is the way how you could also enter the castle even when everything is fully locked at the front. Going back to the rear of the castle, as you can see, we have this gate over here. This is just a very simple gate. As I mentioned in the speed build review, this is the place where I actually let my horse rider go out and in. So this was kind of the stall for the horses. There's nothing else going on, so purely your imagination. It could be an escape route, it could be anything you want. I used it as the gate for the horse. Then we have this wall over here. It is a very simple basic structure going on. We have some rock work detail, we have these cheating bricks on the side, and then you have this big massive catapult. This is built on a 4 by 4 plate that is a kind of a rotating mechanism. So you have the circle. Usually where I know these pieces from are for the ATTEs with the big cannons. If you know, you know which part I'm talking about. This literally is the same kind of piece. Then you have this 2 by 6 plate on the bottom that is actually holding the catapult, so it cannot go any lower than this. And the pieces over here, these are actually your ammo, which is just a 2 by 2 black cylinder, and you can just take them off or you can throw them all at once, just whatever you like. I'll just take them off here. They were, again, in the instruction manual mentioned that they should be here where I left them, and you can just put them in here and you can just launch it like that. And now I have to find it, and good luck. So now that we've talked about this whole build and all its play features and all those kind of things, I want to go over all the things that I find are not good from this set. Even though it is 2007, let me tell you more about it. Something that I find very lacking is the way of like how you can enter these places. As you can see, you do have one staircase that can go up this wall, but there is no way for going over here or on these towers. Neither can you enter any kind of point. So in 2007 you just had to Use your imagination, your creativity, and a minifigure could just go up there. I know as a child, when I was a child, I didn't really care, but now as a bit of an older person, if you want to collect Lego Castle, this is kind of weird to me. What also is very strange in my opinion is the top section over here. Although it looks really good, it has totally no function, which is this tower over here. This is what I mentioned during my take with the speed build. It is just a tower. I will just actually remove it for you. It is hollow from the inside. There is no stud connection. There is no stickers, no build, no lights, no table, no nothing. There is nothing on top. So it just literally is sitting on top over here. Doesn't do anything. And yeah, for me that was just the Princess Tower. I always thought or assumed, as you can see the dragon in the back with the skeletons laying on that plate, I assumed that they usually were the good guys and they had to actually get the princess out of the castle. You know, so it's kind of like the way of how I used to play back in the day. But what frustrated me the most during play even has to be this bridge, because not only is it connected in a very simple way, it is also being able to rotate, and it could be as a kind of like play feature of like when a kind of a trap, right? Like you just enter this tower on top, you want to access the king to fight him, and then this bridge is so wobbly it will move everywhere, because this plate is only being held by a 1x2 with just one pin in there. And actually, if you have a 1x2 with two holes, then you can add two pins and it's already sturdy enough that it doesn't wobble like this. So I really feel like Lego did this on purpose to add an extra secret play feature, but I found it always annoying because when I was playing back in the day and I was like, oh, I will attack the king and I'll just put a minifigure on there, usually I had a big trouble putting a minifigure down because this bridge always rotated, and that is literally what was going on. Because, you know, I'm doing this with one hand now, but usually I had the other hand, I had the dragon in my hand, or I had another minifigure in my hand, or anything else. I didn't have the other hand free all the time, so this was really a frustrating part for me. But of course, as a display, I think it always pretty decent. And what even frustrates me the most about this build isn't the bridge, isn't the tower, isn't the access availability for the minifigures, but it literally is the build itself, because you're building every section one by one, which is really fun, but it is the way how it has been connected. Every section has been connected with one pin, just like the bridge. Every section is connected like that. So in theory, of course, again, I usually do this with two hands, so keep that in mind. But if you pick this part up, you already see what is going on. You can literally rotate this part, and when you want to transport this build or move this build to another side, you already can imagine what happens. Yes, it can fall out of your hands pretty quick because everything is just connected with this simple brick that you can see over here. It is a 1x2 in brown, and it is being connected in the tower as well as on this plate over here, but just everything is connected with just one pin, which is really frustrating when you want to move this set to some other location. So keep that in mind if you are thinking of buying this set. So let's go to the main question. In 2026, should you buy this Lego set from Bricklink if you want to part it out or you want to get the whole set? Let's talk about it. Alright guys, here is my final review of this set. I've been over the play features, I've been over the building experience. Imagine needing 125 of these 1x2 light bluish gray parts just for a castle like this. Is it worth buying this set in 2026 or onwards? I honestly would say if you already have castle sets, it is a take. It is 100% take. I think this is a really fun set to put as display. It is nostalgic. It is from the original Lego Castle line. You get a dragon, but you have to be careful, especially with used conditions, because it comes with a lot of reddish brown pieces. For example, this catapult. You have the big bridge over here. The bridge is a bit easier to get because you have some parts available, of course, on Bricklink. Probably the catapult might not be as expensive either, but if you like, even if you part it out, this set is roughly around 200 if I checked correctly. Like, it is kind of expensive for what you're getting. As I mentioned before, it has, like, interior wise, it has very much like big room for play. There is not a lot of detail going on, so it is all kind of going in your head. But inside there is like no stall for the horse. The weapons rack is kind of meh, just 3 clips, and that's just what you have to deal with. I wish there was a bit more going on inside the castle itself, besides, like, there's not even a base plate in there. It's just literally just your table, and that is kind of what back in the day just was normal, because yeah, that kind of saved money from the set. Imagine having to put 2 extra base plates in this, because this is bigger than your just normal modular kind of build. As this is my first and only castle set, besides these little mini builds that I have from Lego Kingdoms, which I could do a separate review on. But besides that, this is just my main castle thing that I had as a kid. And yeah, back in the day I didn't know better, because we didn't have anything better. But when you compare it nowadays, for example, the 3-in-1 castle that is available on the shelves right now, just that as a standalone set, I think is roughly the same price as what you could get this set for back in the day, even with inflation. Possibly. Again, I don't have the notes currently available to me, but this is a kind of estimated guess, okay? If you have both of these sets as an option and you had to make a choice, I really think that the Castle 3-in-1 set is better than this one. And that is coming from someone that hasn't had any experiences with other castle sets, but I've seen the Bricklink designer program going on with really fantastic builds. I have seen the 3-in-1 set castle. We have Lion Knight's castle, for example, that had been out and sadly discontinued nowadays. But if you can find a good deal, definitely take it if you like castle. This as a first castle for a first time buyer, like a first, you know, like maybe you've collected other Lego themes in the past and you want to go into castle, or you just got introduced by Lego and you want to buy a castle and you found this review, buying this specific one, I would say it's a pass, because it is a lot of bricks and it is very simple. It has a lot of these cheating bricks, and nowadays in 2026 we have snot details going on. We have better minifigure printing. If you care about more details on your minifigure, maybe you like the simplicity of like not having any printed legs, just a simple printed torso and just the average normal medieval helm, then this is a really nice set. Most of the people will buy it just for the dragon alone. I would say buy the 3-in-1 castle, buy a horse like this one, which, yes, it does have this big piece that a lot of people have, but usually with the broken clips. My clips are fine, so I'm lucky here. I just didn't really put anything in these clips, because honestly, back in the day in 2007, I had no clue what these did. Not gonna lie. So just buy a separate horse. It doesn't need to have like this whole armor kind of stuff. Just buy a horse, buy a dragon. It doesn't have to be this dragon specifically. For example, Lego Ninjago has dragons. I think those dragons would do really good. Yes, this is a molded dragon with like some dinosaur pieces. As we know now in 2026, we have a lot of sets with these dino pieces, so they're also not exclusive or whatsoever. Yeah, the wings. But to be honest with you guys, as we have the 3-in-1 castle, we also have a really good 3-in-1 dragon build, which I even think is better than this one. Again, I don't have the set in hands. I don't have either set in hand, but I think that one does really good. If you have more money, you could even buy 2 or 3 of the 3-in-1 castles, and you can build a really big, cool castle, which like is really cool. But yeah, then you spend roughly like double the price on one of these. So if you are a die-hard collector of Lego Castle, you don't have this one. I hope I give you more information regarding the minifigures kind of side, the build itself, and what you get, plus my final thoughts. Again, it is a cool set. It is a cool set for display. It is a nice set for play, especially for kids around 7 years old. That's how old I was when I had this set. 7 years old, or like 12, 15, all good. But after that, it really misses detail, what we have nowadays. So it is really a set that you would just put aside when you have something else, another castle, I'm pretty sure. I think this one is just too blocky, too classic looking If I want to build a classic diorama set, perfect choice, 100% perfect choice. If I want to build an actual diorama from this set with something custom brick built, especially what I'm 100% missing in this, the masonry brick, right, that you see now in every single Lego castle set, it is really missing in this. Maybe you can modify this here and there by just skipping these cheap bricks and build like some snot work around it, but even then I think this set is cool. It is nostalgic, but I think that's literally it. So guys, I want to say thank you guys for watching this review. I'm going to be building more Lego Castle sets. I'll also be building some dioramas. I will definitely do some more medieval stuff. So if you're interested in medieval stuff, or if you're interested in Star Wars, especially the big Coruscant mock that I'm building, make sure to check out my channel, subscribe, and like if you think this content was useful, if you learned something from this, or if you just wanted to see something fun at work, which is what I use YouTube for mostly. Then just make sure to stay tuned with my upcoming content because, yeah, again, as I mentioned, I'm going to do more castle stuff. So thank you guys for watching once again. I'll see you in the next video.